taken from you. As quick as you forget it, it can come back through. As hard as you try not to cross the line, you may find yourself on the other side. So don't hold on too tight, but don't let go. No, don't push too hard, just let yourself grow. Because as hard as you try to be yourself, you may find yourself you're turning into someone else. It's a wide skyline. Watch your sun rise. It's a wide skyline. Don't let the midday shine make you blind, make you blind. What goes up just might float away, and what you're sure will leave might stay. You see, as hard as you try not to cross that line, you may find yourself, on the other side. So don't hold on too tight, but don't let go. No, don't push too hard, just let yourself grow. Because as hard as you try to be yourself, you gotta be yourself. You may find yourself you're turning into someone else. It's a wide skyline. Watch your sun rise, rise, rise. It's a wide skyline. But don't let the midday shine make you blind, make you blind. It's a wide skyline. Watch your sun slide into the starry, starry night. Scrapes, burns, twists and turns, you might call me damaged. Nicks, cuts, dips, and ruts. I've been bruised and bandaged. Every dark night leads to a new morning light, and all of my scars have turned me into a piece of art. Each fear, every loss and tear.
There is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it.
You are magnificent. Yes, indeed. So we're changing it a little bit up every single week, right? We changed, so last week we had moved, those of you who have not been here yet, we used to be in that corner. This used to be in that corner. We moved it last week, but we're making it a little more theatrical because those are my roots. I'm a theater person for 20 years before I became a minister. So, you know, upping the ante a little bit. What do you say we get started? Let me first welcome you to Tucson New Thought, and let's get started with One Big Family. The lyrics are on the screen. If you've never heard it before, you'll catch on real fast. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Repeat that. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. All right. That's a good way to get started. I'm going to turn off a light real quick. We were getting more chairs. It just takes my attention away. So, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Tucson New Thought. How is everyone this morning? Wonderful to hear such ebullient voices this morning, and grateful to have you here. We are a spiritual community that gathers each and every week, each and every Sunday, to celebrate life, to celebrate love, and to know one thing and one thing only. What is that? We're here to celebrate one thing and one thing only. No, it actually, I love that there's a variety of voices that answer in their own unique, individualized way, because that's the truth of each and every one of us. We are unique, individualized expressions of an infinite, divine, creative power of love. And that's what we celebrate here every single week. Yeah, how does that sound? Yeah. So, I want to welcome anyone who is joining us for the very first time today. I'm not going to make you stand because I hated that when I went to my first spiritual center and was new to a community. But what I would like those of us who have been here before to do is to let the new people know what we know about them. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. You are magnificent. You are magnificent, and we know that about you because that is the inherent truth about each and every one of us. We are this magnificence embodied. We teach practical tools here for spirituality to engage life, to make it better, and to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Just take it in. Just take it in. We are here to create a world that works for everyone, and if you are willing to go on that journey with me to create a world that works for everyone, I welcome you on that journey. what I would love to do is for each and every one of us to get up and greet our friends and neighbors, let them know their magnificence in your own unique, individualized way. And I want everyone online to know that I see you, and I'm so grateful that you've decided to spend a Sunday morning with me, or whenever you're watching, if you're watching in the archive. I know you are magnificent, and I'm grateful that you are here. Thank you so much. To join me. It is that time. Allow that energy, that jubilant energy, to take over right here and right now. I have lit the one candle that is actual flame on our table there. This is the peace candle. We light this candle in honor of what we perceive to be happening in the world that seems antithetical to peace. And what I want to do is I want us to allow ourselves to, in this moment, focus our minds as a collective on peace. And so I'm going to read this modified prayer for protection, which is by James Dillett Freeman. Some of you may be familiar with this prayer. Just allow yourself to breathe into this. Truly, the light of peace surrounds us. The love of peace enfolds us. The power of peace protects us. And the presence of peace watches over us. Wherever we are, peace is. That to me is an inherent fundamental truth, because we are peace at the core of our being. And as we allow that to express more and more in our daily lives, we spread peace throughout this world. The other candles are representative of the faith traditions of the world, and we do a ceremony every week called Lighting the Flames of Faith. And for each candle that we light, what we are doing is we are recognizing the golden thread that runs through all spiritual philosophies, faith traditions, and religious ideologies, and that is that love is at the core of all of it. So we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony, and for the space that we are holding for them. The final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. This is your candle, to illuminate whatever is in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind that requires the light.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah.
Right here in this perfect moment, I recognize and know that there's an infinite power, an infinite creative source, the one source. There is only one energy, one creator, and everything that exists is a part of this infinite wholeness. There is absolutely no separation. There is only the one. This one is expressing as all creation. This is inclusive of each and every person alive. This is inclusive of all matter. This is inclusive of everything, down to the very minute subatomic particle. It is all good. It is all love. It is all divine spiritual matter. Trusting this, knowing this, I know that the word I speak now is backed by this power of creation, and I speak my word on behalf of everyone within the sound of my voice, here and now, to know that we are in the perfect place at the perfect time, having the perfect experience at all times, no matter what. That there is a loving presence that is moving through each and every one of us, that is allowing our lives to be reflected as love. I root myself in this knowledge, and I allow this knowledge to simply unfold and unfold and unfold in terms of greater expressions of itself at all times. This is the nature of spiritual evolution, and I am rooted in this, and I allow this perfectly, easefully, and effortlessly. I step out of the way and trust in the flow. Trusting this, knowing this, and with a deeply grateful heart, I simply relax, trusting that this gratitude fuels that perfect creative spirit. And so it is in gratitude that I simply let it be. I release, let go, and allow. And together we say, and so it is.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. I'll be introducing you shortly. One of the great benefits of being in spiritual centers is that we have many people. I know, we're playing a little game up here, aren't we? Well, I was bringing it over here for you. Yes. When you've reconfigured a space, it does take a little while to adjust. But I'm grateful for the voices that we have. Let me give you an introduction first, and then you can walk up. How's that?
Anxious.
All right. But I am grateful for the voices that we have that are not mine. Because I learned so much from all the people in my community, and it is such a great joy and honor to introduce today Reverend Marvis Rodriguez, who has some brilliant words of wisdom for us. Reverend Marvis. There you are.
Thank you. Hello. I have been given the reading today by who else? Reverend Jonathan. And I wonder if he just chose this one purposely for me, knowing me. I will read the reading, and it is from the book by Raymond Charles Barker titled The Power of Decision. Quote, God never made a dull person. God, never created an average person. It never created a satisfied person. We are becoming people. Always its action is constant, seeking expression by means of us. Knowing ourselves aright, we fulfill ourselves by being ourselves at the highest level of progressive expansion possible, unquote. Okay. This reminds me of when I was beginning taking science mind classes 15, 20 years ago. I'd be the person in the class saying, this is garbly goop. I don't understand this. This is language that is not really normal for me. And my teacher would say, well, it was written in 1941, and there was a different way of speaking and writing at that time. So knowing that, I learned that this is kind of like a puzzle. You got to go through it and put it together, which I'm going to do. Now, I'm sure everyone here has met a dull person. And God never made a dull person. So, dull would mean lacking in interest or excitement. So, what's the difference here? Might it be the decision to be interesting and involved? How about the average person? I kind of think of myself as average. You know, baseline, middle. Average is really a mathematical term, and it's a measurement. And it sort of means better than nothing, but less than more. God never created an average person. Something to think about. God never created a satisfied person. When I first read that, I was like, hallelujah. I'm very rarely satisfied. I find fault with a lot of things, beginning with the government and individuals in my shoes and the food and grocery shopping and go on and on. So I thought, boy, I've been given a free ticket here. I'm never a satisfied person. Well, in truth, every single one of us should never be satisfied. What? Now, why is that? That sounds confusing. The definition of satisfied is contented and pleased and at peace. Well, if we were in that state, we would be kind of boring and dull. No offense, but there's an urge within all of us which is bestowed upon us by God as us, through us, that has an ever-evolving urge to grow, to create, to design, to learn, to be curious. And so that's what I interpret this satisfied to mean. We are becoming people. Well, I did not like that sentence. I did not like that. We are people. So what are we becoming? Well, I think what the author is saying is we have the power and the ability and the mind to make decisions that are good and healthy, and God's nature is growth. And so, yes, we are continually growing and becoming people, better people. So, what I have come away with this, I don't know if I have any more time. Oh, I already told you about satisfied, so yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to keep on complaining. So I'm at the point now where I invite you to read with me the affirmation for today. And it is in your program. And I know some of you don't have a program. Is it going to be on the screen? I will read it, and then you can follow along with me. I am a creative thinker, and my creative thought expresses as me magnificently. It's on the front page of the program. If you can join with me now. I am a creative thinker, and my creative thought expresses as me magnificently. And so it is. Your turn.
Thank you, thank you. The operative is we are becoming people. We are becoming people. It's not that we are becoming people. We are becoming people. It is actually related to the knowledge that we are evolutionary as individualizations of this one unique spirit. And as we are living our lives, we are unfolding in terms of greater and greater greatness. That is how we are becoming people. That's what I think he means. So does that help you?
Yeah, it does. It explains the definition.
Awesome. Because, you know,
Yeah,
and you know, this is my favorite book. I don't know if you know this. The Power of Decision is my favorite book, and it has truly changed my life. It was the first book I read when I came into this philosophy, and it is the book that made me go, this is the philosophy that I require myself to be in. And so if that is of interest to you, it's available on Amazon. I'm not trying to necessarily do a plug for the book, but sometimes it comes out that way. When Tucson New Thought first came into existence in March of 2018, part of what had happened was a young woman reached out to me online and said, well, she actually just reached out in general. We just got connected online. I think that's going to be okay. She said, I am looking for a progressive spiritual community in Tucson, Arizona, and they need to be LGBTQ friendly and have great music. And I responded and I said, oh, I was in LA at the time. I said, I'm coming to Tucson, perfect timing. And my intention is to open a spiritual center there, and I would love for you to join me. So that did happen. That woman, introduced me to her beloved at the time, and it was a musical match that they brought to our experience for many months. And then with some stuff that was happening in their lives, they had to step away. But I'm so grateful that half of that duo, her beloved, has graced us with her presence here today to honor us with music. So please welcome Nadia Stefanik. And I will help you arrange this. Oh, there we go. And if you are... Good.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here, and I love the shift in the space and just everyone showing up. The seats are filled, which is really special. That's all the whole concept. If you build it, they will come. So this is a song I wanted to share. It's called Change. I thought it was appropriate to share in the theme of making decisions. This song I wrote to just remind myself that it's my responsibility to change, and it's my responsibility to decide, and no one's going to do it for me. So I hope this resonates with you, and hope you enjoy. Wherever you go, there you are. If ever you run, you'll never get far from your own 2 feet. From those feelings you hide underneath. Nothing's gonna change until you do. No one's gonna take the pain away from you. Nobody will solve the problems you must solve. Nothing's gonna change until you do. Wherever you go, there you are. If ever you hide, you'll never get far. There's a long way to go, but you deserve to be strong on your own. Nothing in this world will come for free. And even if you win the lottery, nobody will fix the troubles you create. Nothing's gonna change until you do. Nothing's gonna change until you do. No one's gonna take the pain away from you. Nobody will solve the problems you must solve. Nothing's gonna change until you do. Nothing's gonna change until you do. Thank you.
Nadia Stefanik, thank you. I'm going to rearrange the furniture and collect myself for a moment. So I lived in a place of faith today in this regard. Normally, I like to see the lyrics to a song before I come into a Sunday. I didn't ask her for the lyrics. I didn't ask her to know what song it was. I just lived in faith today. Boy, did you intuit what I wanted to talk about today. And I think it's a lesson that is increasingly necessary to live. Nothing's going to change until you do, until you change. We go about our lives constantly unfolding, constantly unfolding, constantly unfolding. But the degree to which we maintain a frame of mind, if we are maintaining that frame of mind, we will continue to experience the same level of experience. It is up to each and every one of us. If we would like to create a world that works for everyone, which is what this center stands for, if we are here to create a world that works for everyone, that begins not by trying to change something out there. It begins by changing that which is right here, in our heart, in our mind, or in our heart and in our mind. You decide. There's a story of change and self-discovery that is very near and dear to my heart. And a movie version of it opened 80 years ago on this date. A movie version around change and coming to a deeper understanding of the self. Do you know what movie that is? The Wizard of Oz. It opened on August 25th, 1939. Favorite movie of mine growing up. And it is a deeply spiritual movie. A deeply spiritual movie. It is a parable around how we are in this world. And what I have come to realize as I have gone into the spiritual path, because that wasn't always my path, but I had to change my heart, and then my life changed. But I now recognize the parables all around me, and I am grateful for that. So in this story, there's a woman. Her name is Dorothy Gale. Dorothy Gale is swept up in a cyclone and is taken away from Kansas to another world. Kansas being the representation of that which is the material world. Kansas is representative of the material world. And when she goes to Oz on the cyclone, she is being taken of her own accord. And just think about that. She had to be open to it. She wanted to run away. Remember, she starts the movie by running away and then comes back. Well, then she is taken away because she's on a journey of discovery, a journey of ultimately spiritual discovery. And part of her spiritual discovery is modeled in her companions that she meets there. The Scarecrow. What does the Scarecrow want? Brains. The Scarecrow wants to deepen into the intellect, that intellectual knowing, that place of wisdom, that place of expanding what we know. It is also modeled in the Tin Man. What does the Tin Man want? Heart. The Tin Man wants that to experience feeling and trust and know that feeling is the core of all creation. I talked about that last week. Feeling is the core of all creation. That our quality of life is exponentially affected by feeling. And then the lion, what does the lion want? Oh, don't we all want courage? I have lived parts of my life in fear, more than I would like to admit. And there were times when I thought I would find courage outside the self, but what I have discovered is that when my mind and my heart are in alignment, that I can step up in faith and experience courage, not derive courage. That I can be courageous, I can be faithful, I can allow myself to move through that path of change. In this parable, she also battles her deepest fear, which is represented by what? The witch, the wicked witch. Yeah. What she comes to through her journey is that she has been seeking outside the self. And what she has found outside the self ultimately is illusory. It's illusion. And that when she truly accepted that all she needed was within her, that's when her life changed. And perhaps she went back to Kansas, but she could now navigate the material experience of life with a new mindset, with a new heart set. That's the story. That's the story. And I think on some level, we're all learning this story all the time. I think that's why 80 years later, that movie is still just as popular as it was. Actually, it was a little bit of a flop when it came out. It did not get great ratings. Did you know that? It did not get great ratings. It only really became very popular later when they would do TV reruns of it. Yeah. She found that what she needed was within, but she needed to live the lesson. And so when she clicks her heels 3 times and says, "There's no place like home," that power was always within her. That's the lesson, right? The power was always within you, but you needed to learn it. That's true for all of us. The power is entirely within us, but we are on a constant unfolding, a becoming to that place of understanding that we can have the lives we want to have. Not because of anything we accumulate or anything out there in the material world, but just because of who we are. Because all of that, it's just stuff. It's not you. I learned a very difficult lesson back in 2001. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my romantic history. My husband is in the room, so. And I don't know that I've ever told this in this context before. There are people who will have heard it. When I was living in New York City at the end of the millennium, which is funny to say, I lived in New York from 1997 and moved from New York to Los Angeles in the year 2000. One of the things that was happening for me in my life was in 1997, I was fresh out of university, and I was going to go conquer the world. How many people feel like they're going to conquer the world after university? Especially as an actor. I got my degree in acting and directing. I was like, I'm going to New York, and I'm going to be a big Broadway star. Jazz hands. That didn't quite work out. That's okay. Because what happened is I got there, and perhaps I got eaten up a little bit in that energy, which is something that can happen to us. We can get eaten up by the effects of the world around us to the degree that we allow ourselves to be accessible and receptive to being eaten up. I was searching for something. I was ultimately searching for love. And I thought, I'm going to look out there. I'm going to find that love. And I started dating this guy, and we moved in together. And several months into the relationship, probably about a year into the relationship, we'd been living together, and I thought, this is a toxic relationship, and I should be out of it. I really need to get out of it. But living together and in New York, trying to find an apartment, that's a pretty big ordeal. I had this thought one day. I thought, I could go to LA, and then I could escape the relationship, and I'd never have to deal with him. I could just go to him and say, I'm moving to Los Angeles. And so that's what I did. I went to him, I said, I'm moving to Los Angeles. And he said, great, I'll move with you. And I didn't have the guts to say no. Because I didn't have a great deal of self-esteem or self-worth at the time. So we moved to Los Angeles together. The whole time I knew that this was the wrong path. I knew that this was not a good path. This was a path that was detrimental to my well-being. And I had family who tried to reach out and say, have you really given thought to this relationship? Because they could see it. But when we want something like love so desperately, we put on blinders to a lot of the things that are detrimental. So I moved to Los Angeles in 2000, and it was February of 2001 that I had finally reached my breaking point, and I literally walked out the door. Literally, I walked out the door and I said, I can't go back. I got in the car, I drove to a bookstore, And I stood and I wandered around that bookstore for a couple hours trying to figure out, what am I going to do now? I left the bookstore. I went to a mall. I called my dad. He was living in San Diego at the time. And I said, I've walked out and I can't go back. And he said, just come down to San Diego. So that's what I did. Ultimately, I'm not with that guy anymore. Thank goodness. What happened is he did track me down. I didn't let him know that I was leaving. He did track me down. He called my dad. We talked on the phone, and I said, we're done. This is it. This is like for real. This is it. And we then went through the negotiation of like, are you going to stay in LA? Or do you want the you do the breakup thing. Do you want the apartment? How are we going to facilitate this breakup? He ultimately decided he wanted to move back to New York. Fine. Let me have LA. You can have New York. I'm good with that. And I was with my dad for about a week, and then we had decided on a particular day he was going to definitely be out of the apartment and I would come back. So I came back to the apartment and I unlocked the door and I opened it up, and there was literally nothing there. He had taken everything. Everything. And I had a big time spiritual awakening in that moment, because that was the first time I really learned the lesson. That's just stuff. I have me. That's just stuff. I know who I am. I don't need the stuff to qualify my place in this world. So that was the beginning. That was the little seed of a spiritual journey that I began that ultimately led me to where I am now. Because had that not happened, I might not have then put myself out there, overcoming my fear, living in that place of courage, to actually start going on auditions in LA. Auditions led me to particular shows that brought me to a theater, which also happened to be a spiritual center. And that's how I became the spiritual giant you see before you. I'm just kidding. We're all magnificent. Thank you. You know, it was a journey ultimately of discovering that if I wanted to be loved, I had to love myself first and foremost. And that's what we teach here. We teach love. That's it. You know, we use the word God. I'm using it less and less. Because to me, what that is, that greatness on demand, God, get it? Greatness on demand, that good, orderly direction, it's all love. There's no person, there's no being out there. There is only us being here and now. We are love. And it becomes challenging when I see the things that are happening in the world, but I do remind myself, it's just stuff. I know who I am. And the more I do that, the more I become what I would like to be as a way shower, and encourage each and every one of us to become way showers of love. We actually change our hearts. When we change ourselves, we change the world. The changing of the self is done entirely in mind, 100% in mind. That rooted place of alignment between mind and heart, when we change that, life gets better. It is not to say that we will be completely devoid of anything that is contrary to our, I'm going to say this, acute happiness. We don't have to be chronically unhappy, but we can have acute unhappiness. And when that happens, we can step into this place of knowing that when we know who we are, when we know that we are the expression and impression both of love, the unhappiness is temporary, because at the core, we are happy people because we are magnificent. Everybody says happiness is a choice. I say, no, it's not. It's our natural state of being. Unhappiness is a choice. To decide that these things out there are going to have an effect on us that is adverse in any way is the thing that will lead us down the road to unhappiness and the experience of unhappiness. So, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson in that breakup. I learned my lesson. But I have to ask myself this question. Was the lesson a requirement? Was the lesson a requirement? Was the heartbreak a requirement for me to learn the lesson? It is rhetorical. You've clearly been watching. Was the heartbreak, was the experience necessary for me to learn the lesson? The answer, and nobody's going to want to hear this, but the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Because until I learn the lesson, I'm going to keep recreating the circumstances in my life that are going to show up in an adverse way until I learn the lesson. So my job is to change my mind. I do that through my spiritual practice. That's what I've come to discover. And I do it through the power of decision. The power of decision to decide that I am going to be something different in mind, first and foremost, that then becomes the thing outside the self. That's what's important to me. I'm not trying to change the stuff out there anymore, because that stuff, it's not me. It's stuff. I'm me. So I have been utilizing the power of decision this month as a resource for my own inspiration, which I then bring to you, and trust that you are all inspired in your own unique way. And as you walk in, you are given the opportunity to write down a number. This month, the number has been a number between 1 and 165. And what I do, Nadia, would you do us the honor of choosing for, because I could actually just pull out a number and say, oh, it's number 4. What is the number?
Number 78.
78. The number is 78. So in this book, The Power of Decision, I turn to page 78. This took me a lot of time to get over the fear of doing things like this. But I live in faith now. 1, 2. There are three paragraphs on this page. Which one shall I read? 1. The fact that many important figures in every branch of the sciences and arts have been unhappy and yet brought forth great creative works is to belabor the point. He's making a point. I actually had to start in the middle of a paragraph. I apologize. They could have accomplished all that they did and probably more if they had been happy. Spirit never fails. Spirit never fails. Okay. So he's saying the same thing I've just been saying. I went through the experience I went through because that was my state of mind. As I change my state of mind, I require that experience no longer, and so it changes. If I am stepping away from my natural state of being, which is happiness, into a state of unhappiness because I'm aligning myself with all the things that are out there, that's all on me. It's not on the stuff out there, and it's not on my relationships with any other people. I decide. They could have accomplished all that they did and probably more if they had been happy. There is no virtue in depression, bitterness, and static living. There's no virtue in it. Such states have never made anyone more spiritual, more creative, or more loving. I want you to hear that. The things that can drive us down are not required to make us more spiritual, more creative, more happy. They are not required. But there is a common theme in a lot of spiritual communities that our suffering is the thing that can raise us up ultimately. When we learn to move past that suffering, then we will be illuminated. That is not a necessity. And you get to decide for yourself the degree to which you are going to suffer in your life. I can see no reason for a divine creative spirit to create you with a body that you can keep well if you want to, with a mind that you can keep positive if you want to, with emotions which will respond to your constructive attitudes, with a flexible universe all around you that you can control and, in it, create good experiences. All, underlined and highlighted, all negative states are self-created and can be self-neutralized. Dorothy and I had a similar journey of self-discovery. It took us on a different path of experience, but we had to come to that deepest place of understanding that whatever we require out there is first found within. It's all here, right here. Everyone take a breath. And if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes. Just allow yourself to settle into this knowing right here and right now. That in this moment and in every moment, but right here, right now, there is a power for good. In this universe, it is this universe, and we can use it, and we are using it right here and right now. There is only this one power, there is only this one presence, there is only this one infinite creative resource, there is only one love. And we are living the life of that love, and we express it and experience it as our own, in our own unique, individualized way. But there is only one, there is no separation. There is only this goodness, there is only this flow. And right here and right now, rooted in this knowledge, I trust and know that we, each and every one of us, is a blessing to the experience of the one. I live this and trust this and know this here and now. I know that all lessons are learned perfectly, easily, and effortlessly by means of each and every one of us. And none ever require heartache. But I truly know as well that if we are in the experience of heartache, that we learn the lesson that the change is rooted within. I allow this to be at the forefront of my process, my thinking process. I allow this to be rooted in my heart and trust that the feelings that I feel about it exponentially create the quality of my life. And I trust this to be so for each and every one of us. So knowing this, trusting this, allowing this, and with great, great honor for this creative process in my life and in the lives of each and every one of us, I simply say yes. I step out of the way and trust in the perfect flow. I know, I allow, and I release this word as the law of life here and now. I let it be so, as together we say, and so it is. And so as we allow ourselves to resonate with this, we're going to concretize it with this song. By Karen Drucker and David Bruner.
We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world. Namaste. I'm going to invite Karimon to join me up here. Karimon Pierce, who was with me, we were the first 2 members of the Leadership Council as we started last year. Yeah, think about that, how much happens in a year. But I would love for you to let Karimon have your attention for a few moments.
Yeah, do I have, I have this here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So incredible to see all of your faces. I am feeling this sense of incredible abundance in this space today. My heart is filled. I'm teary-eyed. The beautiful music. I mean, there's just something magic happening today. And you know that this community, Tucson New Thought community, is entirely supported by your generosity, your feeling of abundance. And so I invite you now to take out your investment, your gift, your tithe. It doesn't matter what you call it. What matters, it is the energy of love, which is all that we are, and all that we're doing here, and all that this world is about. And so, just technical side, we have many options for giving. For those of you who are new, we do take cash, check, credit card as well. We have those kinds of devices. We also, for those of you online, there is a link in the it's in the description, in the description that shows you how to also give your gift, give your investment. If you got something magical or powerful today, you know, that's what tithing is about. It's the circulation and the flow, and that's what we're doing. So I just want you to know, online, and those of you in the room, I honor your commitment to our vision and our mission. And I'm so deeply grateful for your support. I mean, I don't know, I just feel this, this incredible expansion happening, and it's exciting. So some of you have a program, but is this going to be up here? Okay, so I'm going to invite you, you can read on the screen here, our divine givingness statement, and I invite you to read it with me. And it goes like this. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that Spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
Thank you. As William takes the basket around, I'm going to let you know about a few of the things that are happening here at the center. There is a class. There are some flyers. There may have been some in your program. There are some over here that I'm beginning on September 8th. It's a 3-week course called Discover You, taking a deeper dive into the basics of New Thought. This is an opportunity to move beyond Sunday, to be able to ask your questions that may have come up for you, because Sunday is great. I love Sundays, but it's not always an opportunity for you to ask me the questions that you would like to ask, and I'm sure many people have the same questions. So it's an opportunity for us to have a conversation about these principles. So I encourage you to take a look at that. Beginning September 8th, it'll be on 3 consecutive Sundays, 12 to 1:30 p.m. On September 1st, that is next Sunday, one of my favorite people in the entire world is offering a concert here in Tucson. And as a friend of mine, she reached out to me, and it is a co-sponsored event by the Center for Spiritual Living Tucson and Unity Church of Peace here in Tucson. They are presenting Amy Steinberg, and I'm telling you, you should not miss this woman. She is a magnificent voice in New Thought, and grateful that she is going to be coming through Tucson on her way to her new gig in, I think she's going to North Carolina. She has been the musical director at the Universal Spirit Center in San Diego, but she is moving on. But she's making Tucson part of her stop on the way there. We are going to be participating as a community at the Beat Cancer Boot Camp Community Festival on September 7th. That is at 8 a.m. There are flyers on the table there. Our friend Sarge, Anita Kelman, is a woman who has created this Beat Cancer Boot Camp experience, and she's doing a community festival on that Saturday morning. We will be there. Carrie Mon will be giving a short talk. I will be giving a short talk, and it's going to be a great opportunity filled with speakers and opportunities to get the blood flowing and the body moving. If you have a request for prayer support, there are prayer request forms on the table. Fill one of those out and you can put it into the box, the colorful box there. That prayer is an assuredness in mind that the work you are seeking to have done is done. Also, if you are joining us for the first time today and you are not already on our mailing list, we'd love to take your email address and put you on that list. What you will get is a series of recorded prayers, also some opportunities for spiritual practice, some videos that I send out and you get to enjoy deepening into some spiritual practices. I welcome your support in spreading the word about Tucson New Thought. Of course, I'm looking out of the room and thinking, well, we're going to need to break down some walls, which is great. I'm grateful for that. Let us break down the walls. Let us break down the walls. But there are flyers as well if you'd like to share that. I'm going to put this in there. Just take this moment of reflection right here and right now. Relaxing into this knowledge that there is a power and presence for good in this universe. It is this universe. It is each and every one of us. And it is also this construct. It is this material good. For there is absolutely no separation. And so I know that the abundance that has been received in this basket here and now does great work. It does great work. As it moves through this experience of Tucson New Thought, it is divinely led and perfectly in alignment and attunement with kindness and good in this world. And so this helps us do our great work of creating a world that works for everyone. And for that, I am truly grateful. I live in faith and knowledge that this is a perfect expression and experience of abundance for all of us. And so letting it be, I do so with a grateful heart and simply relax into the knowing and let it be. As together we say, and so it is. On July 31st, which was just a few weeks ago, the ministers at Unity of Tucson went into their retirement. They had, Larry Schwartz had been there for 53 years. 53 years. And I am grateful that I have been invited to speak there as they're in their search for a new minister. And I want to let you all know that I will be speaking there next Sunday. So I will not be here next Sunday. But we will be having an experience next Sunday. It's not going to be a formal service. It's going to be a spiritual living circle. And if you are so inclined, I would love for you to join us for that. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to, again, have some conversation with Marvis and William. And Caramon and I are talking. As my sister, there's a part of me that would love for her to be up there with me, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I was not going to be here next week, and it's going to be a different experience next week, but I encourage you all to still join in and really, really celebrate the you that is you, and the you that is you is grounded in and reflective of the love that we all have to share. I am so grateful that you have decided to be here with us today. I'm grateful to everyone for watching online. I want to say thank you to Aiden for providing our technical support today. Aiden, who is the man behind the curtain, like the wizard. Yeah. I also want to say thank you to Marvis for your inspiration for helping out with the candles and everything. I want to say thank you to Anita for providing some musical support and the brilliance that you bring with your gift from God as a musician and a singer. I really want to say thank you to Nadia Stefanik for the brilliance that you bring to this community. I am so grateful for you. Thanks for being here today. And for anyone who brought potluck goodies, I'm grateful to you for sharing sharing nourishment with this community. We do have potluck on the last Sunday of every single month, so I encourage you all to stay and celebrate with us as we have some social time following the experience. It does smell good, doesn't it? As we have some celebration today and social time following the celebration. I'm grateful for you. But let's raise our energy up as we end the day with, what is the song? Hit it. It is Here We Stand. The word has been spoken, the songs have been sung, our hearts have been opened, together as one. A center of creation, we are divine congregation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand. The truth has been spoken, the message received. Our hearts have been opened to what we believe. A center of creation, we are divine revelation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand. There's a long interlude here, by the way. A center of creation, we are divine revelation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, here we stand, here we stand, here we stand. Have a great week, everyone.